Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of the We Don't Wanna podcast. We're your hosts. I am Scott, and joining me as always, he's got his favorite song on repeat in the Godswood. It's Zachary Attackery! You're just mashing repeat, bud.
Again, from the top.
Nah,
Again, from the top.
From the top. Again. Listen,
Start again.
we've all been there. We're in the mood for just that one song. And you just gotta mash that repeat button.
The first time that truly happened to me was when I first got a Fall Out Boy record, and I listened to the
Thanks for the
entire
memories.
No, that was way after. This was the
Oh.
album Take This to Your Grave.
Oh, I'm sorry. Zach liked Fall Out Boy before they were cool.
Oh
How
my
dare
god,
I?
no! It was right when they were getting big, and I had that shit on repeat in a CD player.
Hell yeah,
it was,
dude.
It was amazing.
Hell yeah.
Hell
dude.
yeah.
Good
Yeah.
times. Well, we are not here to talk about Fall Out Boy, believe it or not.
You sure?
Yeah, I would not have the Fall Out Boy knowledge that you would have to hang with you there. We are here to talk about House of the Dragon, Hot D, Season 1, Episode 3, second of his name. Zach, I'm just gonna let the cat out of the bag right at the start here. Another banger of a fucking episode.
Another very good episode. There were parts where I felt a little conflicted on some things.
Okay.
But
I'm sure we'll get there.
overall, very good episode.
I would agree with you. I don't think I was quite as high on it as I was episode 2.
No,
Uh,
I mean that's hard to match.
Episode 2 is
That's peak television.
was real fucking good. But I am just consistently impressed with this show at
Yes.
its writing, at its characters, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I really, really am.
Yeah.
So you ready? Anything you want to get out of the way? Should we jump right in here?
I think the things that stood out to me, I think just kind of like as a full episode perspective, not like specific things, because we'll do that in just a second.
Sure.
There's a lot happening.
Yeah.
And usually in a show that is in as grand of a world with as many people as something like this, I would feel like, man, we're already doing this, episode 3, huh?
Mhm.
Like, but when we have incredible episodes like episode 1 and 2, where the show's put in the work already, it can feel like this is not too rushed. There definitely is an element. I mean, obviously, we're doing some time skips in this episode, so you do, in a way, kind of feel like you kind of get yourself caught up to speed, and like the way that some of our favorite characters might be processing or dealing with things from the end of last episode to this episode might be different, and that's because there is a 2-year gap.
3 years.
I thought it was 2-year gap.
I'm pretty sure they said 3 years.
Well, okay, yeah. So I guess if Aegon is 2, turning 2, I mean, there's a whole 9-month pregnancy.
Yeah.
We need to.
That does exist.
Yeah, let's
They
not
don't
just
have,
like.
they don't have instant babies in this world, you know.
Are you sure?
Yeah. She's currently preggers, so we know there's some.
And she's like big preggers,
She's
so yeah, no,
big
you're
preggers,
right.
So yeah, it's been
1
at
week
least,
since you looked at me.
It's been at least 3 years because they
Yeah.
got married. He got her preggers. She had the kid. He's 2, and she's already like 8 or 9 months preggers again.
Yeah.
So time has passed for sure.
Yes. Yeah, so I think that just like as a watcher, you have to be aware of that and put yourself in that mindset.
Sure.
And I feel like whether this is like spoiler territory or not, just because I have looked at the casting, like when I was looking up people's
how
names.
dare you?
Well, there like time skips are going to be something that are happening in this show.
I mean, we've already had it twice. 6 months
Yeah.
and now 3 years, but
Yeah. So I think as the watcher, we just have to like be okay with that and like understand that, because some of the feelings that we have for our characters at the end of last episode, I mean, that 3 years is a long time,
sure.
you know.
I have kind of been, to be honest, I've kind of been enjoying the time skips. I feel like if they continue to go this route and we jump, kind of farther and farther ahead, I kind of dig it because it's a very different perspective on this world than what we got in like Game of Thrones, where that was over just the course of, I don't know how long it was, probably like 4 or 5 years at most, if that.
Really, the whole series of Game of Thrones is over 5 years?
I don't know. I have no
I thought
idea.
it was longer.
I mean, it's longer probably in the books, but I don't know. It's let's say it's less than 10 years.
Sure.
Yeah. But just kind of this, if we do get this kind of long view of kind of this whole struggle, I do think it's an interesting angle to look at this series as, an interesting angle to look at the world. And I thought, we talked about this, I can't remember if it was last episode or the first one, but we talked about one of our concerns was like the limited scope in comparison to Game of Thrones. And our scope was expanded some. Obviously, we got to see like the stuff in the Stepstones. But it's still been, large, vast majority has been King's Landing.
Yeah.
And while that was a concern originally, I'm finding myself not bothered at it.
Sure,
not bothered by it anymore. Because I'm just, that focus, it is really letting the characters like grow and breathe and be,
even considering the time skips.
Right, even considering the time skips. Plus, I think about the fact that how many times do we talk in Game of Thrones? It's like, oh, here we get another Bran scene. Who gives a shit? And it's like,
right.
There's none of that fluff, that fat, if you will.
Sure.
Because the scope
it's all
narrow.
very intentional, like time management.
Right.
I feel like in the show so far, anyway.
Yes.
Hopefully that continues to be the case. I think. So I agree with you. I may have maybe a little bit more of a reserved opinion, simply because. Well, okay, hold on. I guess I'm like kind of grappling. I'm arguing with myself in my head right now.
Argue out loud. Let it out.
Yeah. So with House of the Dragon, I am okay if it does not explore more. Because I am truly invested in these characters.
Yes.
And I mean, shouts to the writing, because without good writing, you're not gonna feel that. And I think that is the key at the end of the day. I mean, that is the most that's the priority. If the show ends whenever that is, right, and we maintain this more limited scope, will I feel like, man, I kind of missed out on like getting to learn more about the world? Yes, I will feel like that.
Sure.
Do I think that it makes for a bad show? Absolutely not. I think we're just talking about my preferences on how I get to kind of like dive into the world of Ice and Fire.
Sure.
Versus, just seeing a really great story being played out. And like the great story is obviously what we're here for.
And that's totally fair, but I've also been thinking about the fact of like, and some of these is like how many are going to come to fruition, how many of these are real, but like all the different Game of Thrones stories that they have at one point or another, or, still are at some stage in production. Like, if you want to tell a more narrow, intimate story in House of the Dragon, and explore other stuff, the wider world in other series, like I'm fucking here for that. Like, tell a narrow story. Tell me, just about this one point in time, about this one family, and then show me something else cool and something else. So
sure, I think that's super fair. I mean, as a fan, it's hard to have that perspective, because that might be 20 years of content that we have to sit and deal with.
That's very true. We're talking about the episode in like abstract a lot so far. Let's jump into like some more detail. What you kind of have the rundown, I assume, like you're the note taker here.
Yeah.
We get our favorite long boy at the beginning.
We do, and that's
once you pointed that out, he's so long.
Yeah, dude.
Even his hind end, like from where his wings are to like his back feet.
Weird, like.
Yeah, dude, like, he is my favorite long boy. I love him.
Hourglass figure there, man.
Yeah.
With
he's
that
great.
curve from the wings.
Syraxes, is that his name?
Syrax.
Is it just Syrax?
I don't actually.
He's
know,
cool.
I don't remember.
He's my boy.
My first kind of note here is just that I never. you all know. I mean, you all who are watching and listening, you, Scott, of course, know.
Mhm.
I've never really given two fucks about the dragons.
Same.
Dragons are a cool.
It's like a cool
like
bonus.
Fantasy. Yeah, totally. And like generally speaking, though, like not just Game of Thrones wise, dragons are cool.
Sure.
But when they are like the subject of things, I just think they're maybe kind of a little bit boring.
Yeah.
You know,
They're a little too OP sometimes.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But man, I gotta tell you, dude, Daemon and his dragon making that entrance was absolutely cool as fucking shit. It looks so good.
It did. I fucking knew that poor asshole was gonna get it. I was like, this dude's about to get just burnt to a crisp or just like squashed, like as he's crying out for help. And sure enough, he did get it, which was very funny.
Yeah.
Cyraxes, whatever his name is, he don't give a fuck.
I've gotta look up his name.
He's like, I'm too long. I can't be worrying about where I'm landing. Have you seen how long I am? My fucking guy. That's my dude.
That's how I talk about.
Yeah. Big time.
Caraxes.
Caraxes. I'm pretty sure it's Cyraxes.
Caraxes. Cyraxes. Sure, we'll go with that.
Whatever.
I believe you.
Anyway,
yeah, that was a cool scene.
That was a cool scene.
And was kind of like the only time I've ever been like, oh, like, fuck yeah, that was sick.
Yeah,
you know, like when it has to do with the
dragon.
dragons, just because I don't really give a shit about it.
And then we get the kind of jumping into like the hunt stuff, right? Well,
so
a little. There's a little bit before that in King's Landing.
There's a little before that, and I think so. One of the things that I kind of struggled with was Rhaenyra's approach to things, and I think I had to keep reminding myself, this is 3 years of this uncertainty, you know, like being built up.
Sure.
But I invested a lot of stock into her last episode.
Yes, you did. Yes,
and,
you did, and I did too.
I found myself selling off a little bit this episode.
I am 100% with you. I was like, boy, I gassed up Rhaenyra a lot last week. She was pretty fucking rad, and I was like, this is cool. And then this episode happened, and I'm like, oh, so you're just a petulant child again now. Cool.
Yeah. I mean, look, there are complex feelings here.
True. But here's my problem with the whole, oh, well, it's been 3 years of this, like, this uncertainty and this, you know, like, kind of building anxiety about the heir thing.
Yeah.
My problem with that is everything we have seen that the show has shown us between her and Viserys has given every indication of having her best interests at heart.
Yeah.
Like, there has never been a single conversation between the two where he has given off the vibe of, you know, I don't have you first in my mind. Like, the vibe I consistently get from my boy Viserys is he truly loves and cares for his daughter and wants what is best for her. That may be, like, difficult, and, like, you know, what is right and what isn't for her is tough to say sometimes.
Sure.
But I feel like he genuinely has her best interests at heart and, like, tries to express that to her, but she's just, like, not having it a lot of the times.
I do agree with that, but I also don't. I mean, you're thinking about, like, just their one-on-one interactions. We learned in the first episode that she has always felt second to him wanting a son. She's always felt like, I've got nothing to do here other than, like, be a Targaryen. Like, he wants a son, I'm not a son, he can't get one, this is sad. You know, like, she's always been upset about this. And, like, I mean, even I believe in episode 2, he even says, like, I have pushed you aside because of my need and want to further my line and yada, yada, yada. And I realized that what I've needed all along was you know?
Sure.
And I want to invest in that, and it's a great scene in episode 2 when this happens, but it does give you some insight that like for most of her life she has probably felt like that.
Sure, and that's fair.
Doesn't mean that he hasn't had her best interest in mind. It just means that she has not been a priority.
Sure.
I think. And so I am trying to put myself in that emotional state. Like she finally gets what she's wanting, and it's not even necessarily the throne that she's wanting. She just gets like the love and appreciation and like care from Viserys, even though she's a daughter and not a son, in episode 2, and then so quickly now she feels like it's challenged. I think it's that. Now I think it's growing into the throne, right? The throne is the physical representation of that.
Yeah.
I think in her head. But it doesn't change the fact that I just didn't love like her character action this episode. She was very whiny and sad, which is fine, but it was just a little much for my taste.
You're 17 now, Rhaenyra. Grow up. As my boy Marcus would say, grow up.
Yeah. Grow up a little bit. Not everything's about you.
Yes.
But
listen, if that's a good point, because like Viserys yelled at her in that tent, and again, I know we're jumping around like we usually do. He tells her, "Not even I am above like duty to the realm or to the family," or however he phrased it. Right. But like he is just like trying to express to her that like, and even our boy Sir Crisco like tells her this too, like, you have responsibilities as a princess. And she's like, "I don't want my responsibilities." And he's like, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that would trade places with you in a heartbeat, even with all your responsibilities,
Right.
And she's like, "Wow, they've never been in my shoes." And I'm like, "Okay, jeez."
Okay, well, you've never starved.
Yeah. You've never, exactly.
Food,
like, you're a fucking princess. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a matter of like I said, Viserys is put in such a difficult position, just constantly by all the different lords and just like nagging at him and like this and that, and the guy just can't.
My guy breaks.
He just needs to have a nap. Like I just want to like put Viserys' head in my lap and just be like, "It's okay, dude. Just have yourself a nice sleep. Drink yourself some wine." My guy he needs a nappy. He's just like they're just like on him constantly. I feel for him.
Also kind of jumping back here. Poor Bard. Poor fucking musician guy.
The princess commands you to stay. Well, the queen commands you to go. So get the fuck out. It's very good.
Dude, poor guy.
His name was Samuel, by the way. Like, did you catch on to that?
I didn't catch that.
I was like, hell yeah! Shouts to Samuel Tarly.
Speaking of names, can we just address that?
Another fucking Aegon? Oh
no, Jason. Fucking Jason.
Is it Jason with an I, like a Kevin with an I? Or no?
No, it's just spelled Jason.
No, wait, it's Kevin with an A.
With an A.
Yeah, it should be
Jason Lannister. What is his fucking cousin Brad also? Like
Okay. Speaking of Jason Lannister, I have to talk about this before I forget.
He is such a fuckboy.
Well, yes, but maybe this is a heat of the moment and like very because it just happened, but I think maybe top 5 hardest times I have laughed in the history of the wider world of Game of Thrones watching this show is when Viserys, I think he was talking to Alicent. Viserys tells Alicent, "I don't think Rhaenyra enjoyed the company of Jason Lannister." I literally laughed out loud when he said that because it was just like, it was such a perfect line from my boy Viserys. It was so funny.
He also delivers his pride has pride.
His pride has pride.
His pride has
pride.
Dude,
Jason Lannister is such a fuckboy. You are absolutely right. And like, that dude, I love Lannisters. You know I have a soft spot for Lannisters. That dude sucks.
Yeah. Hey, also, Viserys doesn't look too hot. this episode.
No, I was extremely concerned multiple times. I was like, okay,
Did you catch the fingers?
What about the fingers? Were they like...
So you know that. So in last episode, he had like that infection on
the
his
one
pinky,
finger. Yeah.
and he stuck his hand in maggots and whatever. Well, in the scene where he's talking when they get home from the
hunt,
and he's talking with Alicent by the fireplace. There's a couple close-up shots of him where he's missing 2 fingers.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
And they're blackened on the edge. It's bad.
So obviously Viserys is not going to live through this whole show.
No,
I think that goes without saying. I am just like holding my breath at times. Like I thought he was going to get skewered by the stag. Like I thought they were going to like lose control and he was going to get it there. I thought he was going to
like... I'm so glad that didn't happen.
I know.
That would have been too reminiscent of Game of Thrones.
That would have sucked. I thought he was going to like drunkenly stumble into the fire or something. I'm just like on pins and needles. I'm just like, no, just give me...
When's he going to drop?
Give me a little bit more time with my dude. Yeah. He's my fucking guy. And I'm just like, no, I need him. I need him. He's not looking great.
No. He also seems very upset and just tired this episode, which you're right. He needs a nap.
Again, I just want to call out, I appreciate so much how he is nobody's fool. And he calls out like the lies and the hypocrisy like constantly. Like when Jason is like talking to him about like all this shit and he's like, oh, is this from your bannermen? Your lords are telling you these things? And Jason's like, what shit? No, I mean, I didn't mean that. And he's like, it is your fucking duty to, inform me about possible rebellion in the realm. And Jason's like,
rebellion?
Rebellion? Shit, dude.
Shit,
I mean, we just all assumed you would name Aegon. And Viserys is just having none of that bullshit. And I just fucking love him for that.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed completely. I think it's been a little bit of a climb for me, but he's my favorite character.
He's absolutely my favorite.
Like, I think for you, it was pretty, like, episode 1, you felt that.
Yes.
And for me, I think last episode and this episode, he's kind of taken that place.
He's great.
For sure.
He's so great.
Also, Paddy Considine,
he's
however
doing
you pronounce.
So good.
He is just owning every single scene he is in. Every single scene he is in, he is just a fucking masterclass.
100% agree.
Oh, it's insane, dude.
Like when he was like every single conversation he has, when he's like kind of just like when like no you're good. Like when like the lights kind of dim, he's like getting drunk and it's just like, it's like the noise is fading out and just like all his like reactions and like just the looks that he's doing in that whole scene is so
his
good.
Drunken acting.
Yeah.
And that's I think you and I may have talked about this like during the
Tyrion wedding,
wedding. That is a tough thing for actors and actresses.
Not
like
easy.
That is constantly like many actors when they are asked like what are the hardest things to depict.
Right.
It's doing like acting drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Holy shit. He is selling every fucking scene he is in. It's fantastic, and it needs to be called out and appreciated. Sure. And I hope everybody who's listening is feeling the same way because, it's awesome.
That's absolutely my guy.
So, I do like this kind of short interaction when they when Rhaenyra and Sir Crisco when Rhaenyra runs off. I thought it was super lame that she ran off. Did not like that. I did not like that.
I did not like that. So when this happened, when they ran off and he followed her, I had an instant theory. Turns out I was way wrong, but I was like, oh, they're secretly fucking, aren't they?
Oh, okay.
I was like, they're either secretly already fucking or they're about to.
I get the feeling. I mean, I absolutely could be totally wrong here. I get the feeling that she doesn't swing that way. I think
could be, yeah. But I just had that instant theory, and then nothing happens. I was like, oh, okay,
right. But when he catches her, also, how hard does that got to be to film? To like grab the other horse while they're sprinting.
To film or to like do?
well, to do and actually
Yeah.
get the shot right, like
Sure. Yeah.
like galloping and like catching up and grab
Yeah.
know?
Yes, Zach. Galloping is so
galloping, dude, fucking galloping.
fucking galloping, bro. It's
Dude,
so
they was fucking
hard.
Galloping.
Guys,
Fuck
I'm
you.
so floaty. Anyway,
Oh my
yes,
God.
continue. What did you like about that scene?
I just like their interaction quite a bit. Like at
Yeah.
the like the lakefront when he does kind of challenge her about like you do have duties. You
Mhm.
kind of called this out already, but that
Right.
that was a noteworthy moment for me. Also, this Viserys and Jason conversation is when he calls out his bullshit.
Yes.
And then to follow it up with the conversation with Otto.
Yeah.
And him getting just fucking just he is pushed to the end of his fucking rope,
Yeah,
dude. Like
dude.
he is like, I came here to hunt, not to be suffocated by all this fucking politicking.
Dude. When he said that, I was like, leave my guy alone! He just wants to hunt! Just let him hunt!
You're ready to go to war for
Dude,
this
I
guy.
am. I will fucking take a bullet for Viserys.
Oh,
Give
dude.
me your. Can I like donate one of my good fingers to my dude? Because he's got problems. No, I was 100% with you. I must say though, I think Otto's got the best idea. That may seem weird to say. That's like, oh, they're half siblings, but that's just the Targaryen way.
That is the Targaryen.
That's just how Targaryens do things. Why not?
Yeah.
Betroth her to Aegon.
Yes. You know what? Hold on. Also, by the way, the comedy here is rich. When he tells him, "We'll betroth them to betroth her to Aegon," and the camera just pans to Aegon, and he's just like, "Bah." Dude, it's peak.
It was
peak
very, very
comedy.
good. Yes.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I have to admit, I think I like. You remember his name? I don't. The other person on
Lionel.
the council, Lionel.
Not a
Lionel
Baratheon,
Richie.
by the way. Lionel Strong.
Okay.
Is his name.
Lionel
apparently.
Richie is his real name.
Yeah, real name. Hashtag real name.
I think that his is actually politically the most.
That's
like,
not
that makes the most sense.
That's not a bad idea. Also, we see the son he's talking about later in the episode. He seems like an alright dude. He doesn't seem like a douchebag or an idiot. So,
and he is a dragon rider.
And he is a dragon rider. So, there you go. Maybe that's. But again, and this is jumping way ahead, but in addition to Viserys, I appreciate that Alicent also like wants to have Rhaenyra's like best interests at heart too. Like
Totally.
seemingly, like
Yes.
I think Alicent, still obviously wants and wishes like she was close and good friends with Rhaenyra. And when she tells him like, listen, I'm sure she'll marry. You kind of just gotta make it like her decision, like let her think it's her call and that she can do what she wants.
Classic parenting.
And that's what Viserys does. It's at the end when he's just like, hey, this has to happen. You have to marry. This is your duty. But you're right. I shouldn't like try and force Jason fucking Lannister on you. Choose one for yourself.
I want to say I appreciated. The one thing I really appreciated about Rhaenyra in this episode is when she kind of throws that back at him. She's like, yeah, sure, you're not above duty,
right,
and stuff, but like
when he didn't marry
if it was about duty, you would have married
Sure.
Lena,
right?
And he's like, okay,
Yeah.
true.
No, fair.
But again, the finesse on this motherfucker,
Yeah.
he's like, you know what, you're right,
Yep.
and he owns that, and is like, you are absolutely right. How about you do the same thing?
That's what I'm saying. I love my dude. He is like
Yes.
not a hypocrite, straight to it, like is not above admitting
The only
when
thing
he's
that
wrong.
I think that I think negatively about Viserys is that without counsel, I think that he would kind of be lost.
Well, sometimes he gets too much counsel.
Well, yes, but
But that's fair because Alicent comes and talks to him, and that like
Yes.
helps him a lot. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no, true.
He's definitely struggling to like make his own decisions.
What does Tywin tell little Tommy boy? He's like, a wise ruler listens to his counselors, you know.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, agreed. So yeah, I have the note here that the king has lost 2 fingers now. Are we just never gonna see anything else about like what the fuck happened on his back?
I'm sure that'll come back.
Like, this
He's
is
just
3 years later.
I
Like,
think,
is it the fingers or is it the back that's gonna kill him? Like,
literally, probably both. I think my dude is just literally rotting. And that's just, I'm so not okay with that.
So is you know more about the expanded lore than I do. Like, is Jaehaerys is considered like the best Targaryen king that there ever was?
Well, no, for sure. Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
So Jaehaerys was,
at least to this point,
Viserys's grandfather or father?
That I don't know. Targaryen history. There's like probably 16 different Jaehaeryses, honestly. Like,
well, only one of them was king.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Fuck you.
Are you sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
I do not know for sure. Targaryen history is like weird and complicated, and I guess that's why we're getting the show. So, not my area of expertise. Also, the stuff I do know more about would be like after this takes place, like when young Aemon and Aegon and, you know, Dunk and Egg, that whole timeline. So.
Yeah, this is real dumb.
What is real dumb?
I just tried looking up, like, I typed in who is King Viserys' father, and it's telling me that his father is
the Mad King.
The Mad King, yeah, because of Viserys from Game of
See?
Thrones.
You're literally proving my point about the dumb Targaryens and their fucking names.
Okay. So, yeah, no, King Jaehaerys was his father.
Okay,
actually.
I thought that was the case.
Yeah, his older brother was Balon, who died.
And his son was also Balon, who died.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's
there's
next
your
on
daily dose of
What's next on your list there that we need to talk about?
So next on my list is getting over to the Stepstones stuff.
Okay.
I go back and forth with how I feel about Daemon constantly. And
I'm kind of with you. I think I overall like him, but with reservations.
Yeah. I had a strange realization because I rewatched episode 2 earlier. I don't know that I should say this because hopefully this wouldn't like ruin anything for you. I just had this weird realization that Matt Smith, the guy that plays
Doctor Who,
well, and yes, who plays Daemon, that when he speaks, he sounds a lot like Ramsay Bolton. His voice sounds like if my eyes were closed, I would think it's Ramsay.
Okay, fair enough.
It's weird how similar they sound. I don't know, just a weird thing that I acknowledged. This scene on the Stepstones, the music when Daemon gets the letter and everything goes quiet and the music starts and he just starts beating the fuck out of
so uncalled for, by the way.
And the music playing over like King Viserys reading the letter was fucking badass, dude. It sounded so sick.
I don't recall it off the top of my head.
Scott,
I didn't make
dude.
like a mental note of it.
I was like,
badass?
Oh yes, dude. It sounded so good.
I liked the way they did that scene. I do remember that is that they like the way the sound faded out and he like, you know, gets all pissed and just jumps that guy. I was like, that's well done. I didn't love this scene in the Stepstones. I didn't hate it.
Like the aggression,
the whole
fight?
battle, yeah, the fight.
I think I like it more and more as I'm thinking about it. But I want to hear. I want to hear why you don't love it first.
First of all, I'm gonna be nitpicking here, to be fair, but like if this is your plan, like this whole thing is a ruse, you should probably be wearing more armor, my guy. Like he didn't have his like shoulder armor on. He was wearing just like the weakest ass armor, and there didn't seem to be enough like reward for the risk, if that makes sense. Like he still had to like chase the crab feeder down into that cave. Like it's not like he drew him way out there and was then able to like kill him, you know. I felt like there were other better ways to do it, and again, this is probably really nitpicking. Also, I hate it when any character, especially in like a very like grounded and realistic show like this is, just has like magic fucking all arrows miss me armor. That just bugs me.
Yeah. So I actually had a lot of these same thoughts while watching this, but here's how maybe this is just how I processed it and like rationalized it, if you want to say that. In a Game of Thrones or in the books, you constantly are hearing these really cool like tales of like, man, yeah, this fighter, like he cut down X and Y, you know, like did all this by himself. Like, I mean, even with like Davos, you know, like he single-handedly like snuck in and, you know, saved yada yada. Like you just are always getting these very rich like these are things that have happened in the past. Yes, but like, but you know that there's some truth to them.
Sure.
And so I guess I was like processing like dude, like this is some cool shit that like, if this is something that's talked about, like that's a cool idea. Like,
sure,
you know, Prince Daemon Targaryen does X, you know, like he single-handedly pushed, you know, whatever the fuck. I mean, however it would be told. I was like, man, this is cool. Also, I have heard that he actually is supposed to be I think I maybe said that like he isn't a great swordsman. He apparently is supposed to be a great swordsman.
Well, he sure got his ass kicked by Sir Crisco.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. With a Valyrian steel sword. Now, listen, I believe that he's a great warrior. Like it's not that part that I'm kind of like.
It's just a little far-fetched.
It's a little like, far-fetched, and again, I'm not like mad at the scene. Like I said, I didn't hate it. I also was just a little taken aback by that, like, they seem to, like, build up this crab eater guy, like, all through last episode.
This is my biggest problem this episode.
And then this episode, and then it's like, we don't even actually see him fight or kill him. It's just like, here I drag half of his... That was kind of cool, though. That was a baller move. Like, just fucking half of his corpse out. But it's just like, why did you build that dude up? Like...
Yeah, I mean, like, now we're in this position where, like, we don't get to get any dialogue from this fucker.
Right.
Like, why was he doing this? Who sent him? Like, we don't get any of that.
Right.
And he has been built up as like, well, this is a big deal.
Right.
Like they've been fighting this war for 2 years against this fucker.
Right. They talked about him in episode 1, so from the drop. Then they showed him in like fucking like half horror scenes throughout episode 2. And even
Pirates
like,
of the Caribbean.
Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean ass scenes through episode 2, and then partially in this, and it's just like, oh yeah, he ran down the tunnel and killed the shit out of him. The end. And I was just a little underwhelmed by that.
I feel that completely. Yeah, my final note on the episode is wish we could have seen Daemon fight the crab guy.
Yeah. I just give me the fight, and I would have felt a lot better about it, you know?
Yeah, especially because, like, in the fight, you probably would have a little bit of dialogue, right? That always happens in a one-on-one fight.
Right. So, was the whole point of, like, this is how I feel, and let me know if you feel the same way, is, like, the whole point of, like, them, like, him getting pissed off about this letter, and them immediately transitioning to going and do this big thing is to prove that they like didn't need Viserys's and the Crown's help to win this? Is that
That's exactly how I.
getting?
That's exactly how
Okay.
I felt about it.
Yeah, they're like, we
Yeah,
gotta
and also-
win this now before the ships get here.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, Viserys rescued us.
Right. Not only that, but we also get that the call for aid was not by Corlys or Daemon. It was by the
Correct.
brother.
Was it
And
the
from the
brother
scene-
or the son? No, it was the brother. You're right.
It was
you're
the
right.
brother.
The
And from the
cowardly
scene
guy.
that we get between the brother and Corlys, it's my understanding that they're like he went behind
Yes,
Corlys's back.
seems that way for sure.
With the way that they're arguing, you know. So yeah, I mean, look, I thought I did enjoy the fight scene. I liked the ruse that he did. I liked it quite a bit.
Sure. The choreography and all that, I have no problems with it. Like, that was well done.
Yeah,
I thought it was
think
shot cool.
It kind of shows me like, okay, like Daemon is a badass,
Sure.
and I can fuck with that. What I didn't like is that there's nothing more on this crab guy. I really hope that we do learn, like, correct me if I'm wrong. I definitely could be misunderstanding this or like misremembering this, but the crab guy has like close relations to people in like the free cities. Like there was concern about like
Going
intervening
to war
with
the
him
free
with the
cities.
free cities. So maybe we'll get more
Right.
about that, and I hope we do at the very
Could
least.
be. Yeah.
But if not, I would be pretty bummed out.
Yeah, it seems like just kind of a weird aside for and listen, we're acting. It's only 3 episodes, and it's like, sure, you can have a little mini plot point for 3 episodes, but it's also been the entire run of the show. So
I mean,
so maybe that's why
yeah, totally.
we're
I
making a
feel the
bigger
same.
deal of this.
If it doesn't amount to anything more than what it has been so far, I mean, it would be clear that it is just a physical threat that was needed to be addressed for the sake of like Daemon and Corlys doing their thing,
Right. And also
that
to
might
kind
be
of
the only point of it.
right, and also to kind of, hey, keep them out of the picture for 3 years while Aegon is born, and you know he has a little time
Yeah.
to get older, and all this happens too. So that could be all it amounts to, and I wouldn't be like upset or furious. It just at this point in time, it seems like a little weird that we didn't.
Yeah.
That this is seemingly over already. You know?
Yeah.
So.
I feel like Rhaenyra is going to either choose Sir Crisco, which she can't because he's a Kingsguard.
Yeah.
Or I think it's gonna be Daemon. I think I may have said that.
I also have. I think when discussing theories with like coworkers and stuff, I've definitely said before, like, I think Rhaenyra and Daemon are gonna be a thing at some point, because again, that's just what Targaryens do.
Yes.
And I will go back to that scene in episode 1 where he gives her the necklace, where I was getting some creepy ass vibes off those two. I agree. And that should be interesting. I was a little surprised by Viserys basically reaffirming at the end of the episode, like, you are my heir. Like, yes, I wavered at some point, but you are my heir, which again only reaffirms what is coming. Like,
oh yeah, my boy is done.
He's
dude.
gonna die very soon, and I'm going to be very, very, very sad. But that will open the realm to splitting sides.
Yes.
So obviously that's coming. I will weep many tears when my guy Viserys gets it. I just hope he goes in peace. Like, I just want him to be happy. I just want him to get a nap.
You know what's something that hasn't come back around, and I am afraid that it won't now that we're doing these time skips.
What's that?
Is the letter that Otto sent in episode 1.
Oh yeah, what did he say? What was it again?
I have no idea. It was after the queen died, and the baby was dead. And he was like,
he just said, who did he send it to? Did he say that?
Nope. He said he wrote a letter aggressively and gave it to I don't know who, maybe the maester, and was like, ensure that this is sent to Hightower. And that was it.
So that's his brother that was like, is that what he said? Like, hey, you need to make sure he names Aegon. That was talking to Otto.
I think so, yeah.
I think he said brother at some point.
Yeah.
That dude seems like a douchebag.
Yeah.
What did you think of the whole, like, the White Hart and Rhaenyra seeing the White Hart? Like,
Fucking
did that do
corny,
anything
dude.
for you?
Fucking corny, bro.
It's alright. I thought
Fucking...
the boar scene was pretty unnecessary and corny.
Fucking corny, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that. that little block in the episode, I was like,
Wasn't the best.
It wasn't for me. Look, they can't win them all.
They can't win them all. Just get back to my guy Viserys, because I know I don't have enough time left with him. I need every moment that I can get with my precious boy. Anything else you want to say about the ep, Zach?
No, man. I think that's it. Let's get the old rating here.
Okay. You go first this time.
I'm gonna give this a 5.5.
Whoa! Oh, you didn't like it.
I didn't like it. It's still good. Man, maybe 6. Maybe 6.
I was gonna go 7.5 because I still had a really good time with it.
I have to admit, I'm having trouble articulating, like, why I didn't come off of it as high as I maybe should have.
Interesting. See, so this is slightly unrelated, but did you watch episode 2 of Rings of Power yet?
Yes.
Okay. I haven't asked you how you felt about that yet. How did you feel about it?
It was not fantastic. Look, I didn't hate it, and I know that you really disliked it.
I disliked it pretty greatly. Like, I had a lot of, like, the first episode I was like, okay, this could be good. Like, there's setup here that this could be good.
They're trying to do too much too fast.
I don't know what they're trying to do, but I was so fucking bored throughout all of episode 2. I was just I'm snooze, brother.
I don't agree with that completely. Well, hey, this doesn't happen often. We don't have opposing views on things very often. To me, the worst part of the episode. Hey, here's some bonus content for you fucking people.
Bonus Rings of Power content.
Bonus Rings of Power. Super quick discussion here. The boy, dude, that scene with Bronwyn and her son and the orc thing that came out of the ground.
Oh my god,
was terrible.
I honestly forgot that scene existed.
Dude, that was just awful. It looked like this was some like college
production, horror production.
I mean, shit, that would be even better, dude. This was terrible.
I don't know. I think you're being excessively generous to that episode because I had forgotten about that part, and that was so bad. So I was just so bored. Like, I loved Galadriel in the first episode, and in this episode,
she doesn't do anything.
Fucking boats. I'm just like, what are we doing? I'm so bored right now.
This is a perfect reason to use a time skip.
Yes, Elrond is like the only one who I was even remotely interested in that episode. And even then, for half the episode, he's literally just smashing rocks. And that was the most exciting part of the episode.
I enjoyed his part. I enjoyed his stuff. And surprisingly, after episode 1, I enjoyed the stuff with the Harfoots only because I'm very interested in the stranger.
Hard pass.
I want to figure out who this person is.
Hard pass. It's Gandalf or Radagast. I can tell you that right fucking.
Well, regardless of who it is, it's still interesting, I think, and that has got me.
Anyway, I said all this. Rings of Power session over. I said all this to make the point of that. I was so bored in episode 2 of that show. And I had, and maybe this is my own fault because I feel like after the trailers and going into these, I had higher hopes for Rings of Power than I did for Hot D. So maybe this is partial to do with my expectations and where they're set at when I go into something.
Sure.
But like the exact opposite. When I was sitting and watching this episode tonight, and this has been true of all 3 episodes, I was just like intrigued, just like edge of my seat, just like what's gonna happen next. And I give a lot of credit to like the writing, the performances. Also, I know we've called this out before, but I have to call it out again. The costuming and like the set dressing in this show is so good.
Yes.
It is so good. Everyone's like I think Game of Thrones looked very good, even early on when they were like much lower budget.
It's so much darker than it is in the books, though. Like, it's so much more desaturated than it is in the books.
True. But just like when they first showed like the Lannisters and like all their court clothes and everything, I was just like, everything looks so cool. Like this show looks good.
Yes.
But the bigger point I was trying to make is that I am engaged and intrigued, and I want to know what's going to happen next.
Yes.
And I'm just like interested, and I can't wait for more. I can't wait for next week.
Yeah. Like I think a good way to phrase this is, and like especially from my perspective, who like I didn't enjoy like the whole like white art thing.
Mm-hmm.
But like from every scene as it carries to the next scene or the next like section of the episode, I still was pulled by it and like and pulled into it and like just like you said, engaged, right? Every transition that they have felt natural and like, okay, cool, now we're here and I want to see this.
Sure.
And I admit that is not what it felt like with episode 2 of Rings of Power.
For sure. We took a large detour after our rating, but we can't forget to name
I'm going to amend my rating to a 6.
Okay. All right. Who won the episode?
Viserys.
See, I was honestly thinking Daemon.
I mean, I was infinitely less compelled by Daemon than I was
Yeah,
by
you're
Viserys.
You're right. I was just playing devil's advocate.
Infinitely.
I was just playing devil's advocate. It's Viserys. It should have been Viserys in episode 2 too. He should be 3-week running winner of the episode.
Viserys is just so compelling.
He crushes it.
Look, not to take anything away from Daemon. Like Daemon did a lot and he accomplished a big thing and he is a badass and he does earn that. But when we're talking about who made the episode what it is, it's Viserys.
It's Viserys
by
for
a mile.
I would like to also nominate Alicent again for giving him good advice. This is mainly just to piss off my friend Marcus, who was very upset that I nominated Alicent last week. I was like, dude, she became a queen last week. He was like, you're crazy. You're crazy. So
does he not like Alicent?
Big shouts to, I don't know. He just thought that was crazy that I nominated her. But anyway.
Interesting. Shouts to Marcus
Viserys.
for listening to the show.
For sure. It's definitely Viserys. So.
It's Viserys by a mile.
Yeah.
Like it's no contest. How anybody could actually try and argue someone else is just beyond me.
We're gonna have a lot of people saying Daemon, and I don't.
We're gonna have a lot of people saying Daemon.
Fully
but like,
disagree,
but these are the people that leave a shit movie with a good ending and feel like it's a great movie just because they have fucking recency bias.
Actually. I think who won the episode is my favorite long boy, Caraxes. Like,
okay, it might be Caraxes or Caraxes.
Yeah, that dude.
Is.
I'm just gonna call him Long Boy because he's
Long Boy. Yeah,
he's so long.
Yeah. Schlong Boy.
Schlong Boy, my guy. That is gonna do it for us here at the We Don't Want to podcast. This has been episode 3, second of his name of Hot D. Go check us out on YouTube on your favorite podcasting app. Like, subscribe, leave us a rating. You know everything that you like to do, and we like for you to do. Check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. If you want to join our Discord and talk about the episode more with us, shoot us a DM and we'll give you a link. Did I miss anything, Zachy boy?
Wow, dude, were you studying?
No, I wasn't. I'm on my A game tonight.
You did everything. you did everything.
I'm on my A game tonight. I got a nap. Unlike Viserys, I did get a nap today.
You got a nap today.
That's gonna do it for us. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week for episode 4. Don't miss it.
Bye.